And welcome to our magnetism and solar features section. We've got a geomagnetic storm headed Earth's way, expected to arrive early in the day tomorrow, lasting all day with geomagnetic unrest and ending with some fireworks, some geomagnetic storms forecasted. KP of 6 on NOAA's forecast. Make sure you check out our previous space weather video about that. Here we're looking at the last 4 hours of magnetohydrodynamic pressure around planet Earth. And we can expect some major changes coming in this late in the day today, all through the day tomorrow. It should be an exciting day for geomagnetism. Next, we're looking at the heliospheric current sheet. The plasma that the sun puts out is oriented to one pole or the other. There is a North Pole current sheet headed our way, and that would make me suggest that we're going to see an additional sunspot rise, or we may see sunspot 2940 degrade. We're expecting the southern hemisphere to light up. In any case, there's a latest image. Earth is in a South Pole current sheet, shown in red. Here's the GOES magnetometer data over the past 3 days. Fairly unremarkable here over the past 24 hours. Here's the line of sight ecliptic plane field plot from Earth's perspective, looking across the heliospheric current sheet. Oh, again, we may see an uptick here in the south, or perhaps a downtick in the north in terms of sunspots. Here's the line of sight coronal hole plot. And you can see some well-defined South Pole-oriented trans-equatorial coronal holes over here in the east, just moving into the Earth-facing zone. And those will be sending some plasma our direction also in a few days. So here's a visualization of that. 193 angstroms is great at showing coronal holes. You can see the depth. What evil lurks in the depths of coronal holes? High-speed protons are being emitted from those coronal holes. Let's move on to sunspots. Likelihood of major flares still very high, just like it was yesterday. Don't be surprised to see high-frequency radio blackouts. If we see major X-ray flares, we could see M or even X-class flares. The most likely candidates would be sunspot 2940 and sunspot 2936. 2939 also capable of producing large flares. Again, likelihood quite high to see major flares. So here's sunspot 2939. It's beta class. It's beta gamma class. Great view there from the SDO in 1700 angstroms. Next, sunspot 2940 in that same wavelength. And you can see a little bit of flaring happening there, those bright regions. And here's the biggest sunspot group, sunspot 2936. It's gargantuan. That leading umbra is like about twice the diameter of the Earth. Great penumbral detail there also. You can see those beveled lines around it. Sunspots are like divots. Great three-dimensional imagery there from the SDO. And here's the zoom out. This is, I believe, 2934 setting down here. That's been alpha class sunspot the whole time. Hasn't been too exciting, but those other three groups are certainly interesting and capable of producing large flares. So we did see a nearly M-class flare there. That was a high-level C-class flare there happening at 7:40 universal time was the peak flux of that. It did not produce any relativistic particle spikes. Nothing showing up in the proton flux. Let's go to the real-time solar wind next. We see a subsiding solar wind speed here. Solar wind now down to 419 kilometers per second. Solar wind density only 4.3 protons per cubic centimeter. So pretty low and diffuse now is the solar wind. We should get a significant signal when the coronal mass ejection causing the geomagnetic unrest and storm conditions arrives. The KP index, a measurement of global geomagnetism, is only at 1, and the forecast is for it to be way up here at a KP of 6 late in the day tomorrow, and indeed early in the day on February 3rd. Watch our previous video for more details about that. Happy new moon, folks. Congratulations to all you reverse werewolves out there who sleep well at night, don't cannibalize humans, and are productive, happy members of society throughout the daytime. Shout out to all of our reverse werewolves who just sleep well at night around new moon. Here's a 1-week forecast for the solar system. And there's where things will be in a week as Mercury blows by Venus like it's standing still. Next, our star chart. I put up a star chart here for what's going on above my head in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. If you're up before dawn, you may see Mars and Venus and Mercury rising ahead of the Sun. It's a planetary pileup. Next, we'll show you the coronal mass ejections that have occurred in the past several hours here. One was associated with the C-class flare that we showed you. So here's the view from Lagrange 5 here at stereo A. That's located over here. It trails the Earth orbitally speaking, but sees space weather ahead of the Earth. On the right is the LASCO C3, the SOHO LASCO C3 located here at Lagrange 1, not to be confused with the Discover, which measures solar wind. So there are our coronagraphs, and these CMEs are not Earth-directed. Just another fireworks display. They'll miss the Earth to the northwest and the southwest, respectively. We don't see any ejecta on the left side of the coronagraph, indicating that those are off to the west. So great view there from the LASCO C3. Great that you tuned into the videos. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash and Mash, signing off from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news.